Hello everyone, Kit here. Today for you guys, I'm going to be reading the U.S. Code 2011, Title 12, Chapter 2. I'll leave a link to this document down in the description below, along with our email. You can email us at thebunks@gmail.com for a private consultation. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this. This is the way how this is typed is a bit weird, so I'm gonna have to go. How you read it is you go down one paragraph and then you go back up and you read the next paragraph up here. So I'm going to read down here first, then I'm going to work my way up and do the next side. Alright, let's go. Title 12, Banks and Banking. By virtue of the authority vested in me by Section 5B of the Trading with the Enemy Act of October 6, 1917, as amended, and Section 4 of the Act of March 9, 1933, and by virtue of all other authority vested in me, do hereby, in the interest of the internal management of the government, proclaim, order, direct, and declare that the said proclamations of March 6 and March 9th, 1933, and executive order of March 10th, 1933, as amended, and further amended to exclude from the scope banking institutions which are members of the Federal Reserve System, provided, however, that no banking institution shall pay out any gold coin, gold bullion, or gold certificates, except as authorized by the Secretary of the Treasury, or allow the withdrawal of any currency for hoarding. This proclamation shall become effective as of March 15th, 1947. Regulation of transactions in foreign exchange of gold and silver, property transfers, vested interests, enforcement, and penalties. During the time of war, the President may author any agency that he may designate, and under such rules and regulations as he may prescribe by means of instructions, licenses, or otherwise. During times of war, the President may, through any agency that he may designate, and under such rules and regulations as he may prescribe by any means of instructions, licenses, or otherwise, investigate, regulate, or prohibit any transactions in foreign language, transfers of credit or payments between, by, through, or to any banking institution, and the importing, exporting, hoarding, melting, or earmarking of gold or silver coin or bullion, currency, or securities, and investigate, regulate, direct, and compellify, void, prevent, or prohibit any acquisition, holding, withholding, use, transfer, withdrawal, transportation, importation, or exportation of, or dealing in, or exercising any right, power, or privilege with respect to, or transactions involving any property in which any foreign country or a national thereof has any interest, by any person, or with respect to any property subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, of any property or interest, or of any foreign country or national thereof, shall vest, when, as, and upon the terms directed by the President, in such agency or person as may be designated from time to time by the President, and upon such terms and conditions as the President may prescribe, such interest or property shall be held, used, administered, liquidated, sold, or otherwise dealt with in the interest of and for the benefit of the United States, and such designated agency or person may perform any and all acts incident to the accomplishment or furtherance of their purposes, and the President shall, in the manner of hereinabove provided, require any person to keep a full record of, and to furnish under oath, and in the form of reports to otherwise, complete information relative to any act or translation referred to in this subdivision, either before, during, or after the completion thereof, or relative to any interest in foreign property, or relative to any property in which any foreign country or any national thereof has or has had any interest or as may be otherwise necessary to enforce the provisions of this subdivision, and in any case in which a report could be required, the President may, in the manner of herein provided, require the production, or, if necessary, to the national security or defense, the seizure of any books of account, records, contracts, letters, memoranda, or memoranda, I don't know how you pronounce that, or other papers in the custody or control of such person. Any payment, conveyance, transfer, assignment, or delivery of property or interest. As used in this subdivision, the term United States means the United States of any place subject to the jurisdiction thereof. That the foregoing shall not be constructed as a limitation upon the power of the President, which is hereby confirmed to prescribe from time to time definitions not inconsistent with the purposes of the subdivision, for any and all of the terms used in the subdivision. All used in the subdivision, the term person means an individual, partnership, association, or corporation. The authority granted to the President by this section does not include the authority to regulate or prohibit, directly or indirectly, the importation from any country or the exportation to any country, whether commercial or otherwise, regardless of format or medium of transmission, of any information or informational materials, including but not limited to publications, films, posters, phonograph records, photographs, microfilms, microfilch tapes, compact discs, CD-ROMs, artwork, and newswire feeds. The reports exempted from regulation or prohibited from this paragraph do not include those which are otherwise controlled for export under Section 2404 of Title 50. Codification. Words, including the Philippine Islands and the several courts of the first instance of the Commonwealth of the Philippine Islands, shall have jurisdiction in all cases, civil or criminal, arising under this section in the Philippine Islands, and concurrent jurisdiction with the district courts of the United States of all cases. Civil or criminal arising upon the high seas, following to the jurisdiction thereof, in subsection, were omitted on authority of 1946, which granted the Philippine Islands independence, and which was ensued pursuant to Section 1394 of Title 22 for foreign regulations and intercourse. Amendments. Prior to amendment, the authority granted to the President in this section does not include the authority to regulate or prohibit directly or indirectly the importation from any country, of the exportation to any country, whether commercial or otherwise, or of publications, films, posters, phonograph records, photographs, microfilms, microfilch tapes, or other informational materials which are not otherwise controlled for export under Section 2404 of Title 50. The authorities conferred upon the President by Section 5 of the Trading with the Enemy Act, which was being exercised with respect to a country on July 1st, 1977, as a result of a national emergency declared by the President before such date, and are after being exercised on the date of the enactment of this Act, April 30th, 1994, do not include this authority to regulate or prohibit directly or indirectly any activity which, under Section 5 of the Trading with the Enemy Act, as amended by Paragraph 1 of this subsection, may not be regulated or prohibited. Section 2502 provided that the authorities conferred upon the President by Section 5 of the Trading with Enemy Act. This section which were being exercised with respect to a country on July 1st, 1977, as a result of a national emergency declared by the President before such date, and are being exercised on the date of this enactment of this Act, August 23rd, 1988, do not include the authority to regulate or prohibit directly or indirectly any activity which, under Section 5 of the Trading with the Enemy Act as added by paragraph 1 of this subsection, may not be regulated or prohibited. Section 101. Provided that, notwithstanding the amendment made by subsection A, authorities conferred upon by President by Section 5 of the Trading with an Enemy Act, this section, which were being exercised with respect to a country on July 1st, 1977, as a result to a national emergency declared by the President before such date, may continue to be exercised with respect to such country, except that unless intended. The exercise of such authorities that, unless intended, shall terminate subject to the savings provisions of the second sentence of Section 101 of the National Emergencies Act, War and National Defense, at the end of the 2-year period beginning on the date of enactment of the National Emergencies Act. The President may extend the exercise of such authorities for 1-year periods upon determination for each such extension that the exercise of such authorities which with respect to such country for another year is in the national interest of the United States. The termination and expansion provides of subsection B of this section subsede the provisions of Section 101 and of Title 2, Section 1621, subsection of Title 50 of the National Emergencies Act, to the extent of that the provisions of the subsection B of this section are inconsistent with these provisions. Removal of limitations and restraints in financing exports. Provided that, in connection with Section 2 of Executive Order Number 11387, dated January 1st, 1968, formally set out below, and any rule, regulation, or guideline established by the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System in connection with a voluntary foreign credit system, in connection with a restraint program, there shall be no limitation or restraint or suggestion that there be a limitation or restraint on the part of any bank or financial institution in connection with the extension of credit for the purpose of financing exports of the United States. Under Section 6 of the Appendix to Title 50, War and National Defense, diplomatic property of Germany and Japan. Formerly set out as a note under this section, which describe regulations for this investigation, regulation and prohibition of transactions in foreign exchange, transfers of credit between or payments by banking institutions, and export of currency or silver coin by persons within the United States or subject to its jurisdiction, which based on authority of Section 95 of this title, October 6, 2017, comprising part of the Trading with the Enemy Act, which was amended in 1977 to remove the powers of the President to regulate transactions during a period of national emergency other than a war. All the following transactions are prohibited, except as specifically authorized by the Secretary of the Treasury by means of regulations, rulings, instructions, licenses, or otherwise. If such transactions are by, on behalf of, or pursuant to the direction of any foreign country designated in this order, or any national thereof, such transactions involve property in which any foreign country designated in this order, or any national thereof, has at any time or since on effective date of this order had any interest of any nature whatsoever, direct or indirect. All transfers of credit between any banking institutions within the United States and all transfers of credit between any banking institution within the United States and any banking institution outside the United States, including any principal agent, home of office, branch, or correspondent outside the United States of a banking institution within the United States. All payments by or to any banking institution within the United States. All transactions in foreign exchange by any person within the United States. The export or withdrawal from the United States or the earmarking of gold or silver coin or bullion or currency by any person within the United States. All transfers, withdrawals, or expectations of or dealings in any evidences or indebtedness of ownership of property by any person within the United States, and any transaction for the purpose or which has the effect of evading or avoiding the foregoing prohibitions. Section 2. Dealings in foreign securities. Regulations. All of the following transactions are prohibited except as specifically authorized by the Secretary of the Treasury by means of regulations, rulings, instructions, licenses, or otherwise. The acquisition, deposition, or transfer of or other dealing in, or with respect to any security or evidence thereof on which there is stamped or imprinted, or to which there is affixed or otherwise attached a tax. The acquisition by or transfer to any person within the United States of any interest in any security or evidence thereof, if the attachment circumstances disclose or indicate that the security of evidence thereof is not physically situated within the United States. The Secretary of the Treasury may investigate, regulate, or prohibit under such regulations, rulings, or instructions as he may prescribe, by means of licenses or otherwise, the sending, mailing, importing, or otherwise bringing, directly or indirectly, unto the United States from any foreign country, of any securities or evidences thereof, or the receiving or holding in the United States of any securities or evidences thereof, so brought into the United States. Section 3. Foreign countries effective date for prohibitions. The term foreign country, designated in this order, means a foreign country included in the following schedule, and the term effective date of this order means, with respect to any such foreign country or any national thereof, the date specified in the following schedule: April 8, 1940, Norway and Denmark; May 10, 1940, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg; June 17, 1940, France, including Monaco; July 10, 1940, Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania; October 9, 1940, Romania; March 4, 1941, Bulgaria; March 13, 1941, Hungary; March 24, 1941, Yugoslavia; April 28, 1941, Greece; and Greece, and June 14, 1941, Albania, Andolia, Austria, Czechoslovakia, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, Denmark, Finland, Germany, Italy, Liechtenstein, Portland, Portugal, San Marino, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, and Union of the Soviet Socialist Republics. June 14, 1941, China and Japan; June 14, 1941, Thailand; June 14, 1941, Hong Kong. The effective date of this order, with respect to any foreign country, is not designated to this order and shall be deemed to be June 14, 1941. Section 4. Records of foreign banking and security transactions investigations. The Secretary of the Treasury and or the Attorney General may require by means of regulations, rulings, instructions, or otherwise, any person to keep a full record of and to furnish under oath in the form of reports or otherwise, from time to time, and any time or times, complete information relative to any transaction referred to in Section 5B of Act of October 6, 1917, this section, as amended or relative to any property in which any foreign country or any national thereof has any interest of any nature whatsoever, direct or indirect, including the production of any books of account, contracts, letters, or any papers, or any other papers, in connection where therewith, in the custody or control of such person, either before or after such transaction is completed, and the Secretary of the Treasury and or the Attorney General may, through any agency, investigate any such transaction or act, or any violation of the provisions of this order. Every person engaging in any of these transactions referred to in sections 1 and 2 of this order shall keep a full record of each such transaction engaged in by him, regardless of whether such transaction is effected pursuant to license or otherwise, and such record shall be available for examination for at least 1 year after the date of such transaction. Section 5. Definitions. As used in the first paragraph of Section 1 of this order, transactions which involve property in which any foreign country is designated in this order, or any national thereof, has any interest of any nature whatsoever, direct or indirect, shall include, but not by way of limitation, any payment or transfer to any such foreign country or national thereof, any export or withdrawal from the United States to such foreign country, and any transfer of credit or payment of an obligation expressed in terms of the currency of such foreign country. The term United States means the United States and any place subject to the jurisdiction thereof, and the term Continental United States means the states of the United States, the District of Columbia, and the Territory of Alaska, provided, however, that the purposes of this order, the term United States, and for the purposes of this order, the term United States shall not be deemed to include any territory included within the term foreign country as defined in the paragraph D of this section. The term person means an individual, partnership, association, corporation, or any other organization. The term foreign country shall include, but not by way of limitation, the state and the government thereof on the effective date of this order, as well as any political subdivision, agency, or instrumentality thereof, or any territory, dependency, colony, protectorate, mandate, dominion, possession, or place subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Any government, including any political subdivision, agency, or instrumentality thereof, to this extent, and only to that extent that such government exercises or claims to exercise de jure or de facto sovereignties, or claims sovereignty over the area, which on effective date constituted such foreign country, and any territory which on or since the effective date of this order is controlled or occupied by the military, naval, or police forces on any authority of such foreign country. Any person, to the extent that such person is or has been, or to the extent that there is reasonable cause to believe that such person is or has been, since or indirectly for the benefit or on behalf of any of the foregoing, Hong Kong shall be deemed to be a foreign country within the meaning of this subdivision. The term national shall include any person who has been domiciled in or a subject, a citizen, or resident in a foreign country, at any time or on or since the effective date of this order. Any partnership, association, corporation, or any other organization organized under the laws of which on or since the effective date of this order had or has had its principal place of businesses in such for was or has been controlled by or a substantial part of the stock, shares, bonds, debentures, notes, drafts, or other securities or obligations of which which was or has been owned or controlled by, directly or indirectly, such foreign country and or one of more nationals thereof, as herein defined. Any person to the extent that such a person is or has been since such effective date acting or purporting of any national of such foreign country and any other person who there is reasonable cause to believe a national as herein defined. In any case in which, by virtue of the foregoing definition, a person is a national of more than one foreign country, a person shall be deemed to a national of each foreign country. In any case in which the designated in this order and or nationals thereof are sufficient in the aggregate to constitute within the meaning of the foregoing, to control of 25 per centium or more of the stock, shares, bonds, debentures, notes, drafts, or other securities or obligations of a partnership, association, corporation, or other organization, but such control or a substantial part of each stock, shares, bonds, debentures, notes, drafts, or other securities or obligations is not held by any one such foreign country and or national thereof. Such partnership, association, corporation, or any other organization shall be deemed to be a national of each of such foreign countries. Then the Secretary of the Treasury shall have full power to determine that any person is or shall be deemed to be a national within the meaning of this definition, and the foreign country of which such person is shall deemed to be national. Without limitation of the foregoing, the term national shall also include any other person who is determined by the Secretary of the Treasury to be or have to be, since such effective date, acting or purporting to the act, directly or indirectly, for the benefit or under the direction of foreign country designated in his order or national thereof, as herein defined. The term banking institution, as used in this order, shall include any person engaged primarily or incidentally in the business of banking or granting or transferring credits, or of purchasing or selling foreign exchange or procuring purchases and sellers thereof, as principal agent, or any person holding credits for others as a direct or incidental part of his businesses or brokers, and each principal, agent, home office, branch, or correspondent of any person so engaged shall be regarded as separate banking institution. Alright guys, I'm going to finish it up in the next video. I'll see you guys in part 2 of this. Make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll leave a link to this down in the description below again. I'm for email. You can email us at themunz@gmail.com for private consultation. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a nice day. Goodbye.